The hallway, once buzzing with noise, fell dead silent. A ripple of gasps spread through the crowd. Guys froze mid-step, hands flying to their mouths. Girls stared wide-eyed, some recording, others too stunned to blink. After all, it's not every day the school's scariest heartthrob, the infamous Xavier Moonfell, gets yanked by the collar into a kiss. By Eugene, Oregon, of all people. Eugene's grip on Xavier's collar was tight, knuckles white, his lips pressed firmly against the mouth that had just insulted his best friend. He didn't plan this. He didn't even like Xavier. But enough was enough, so he kissed him, right there, in front of everyone, just to shut him up. Xavier stood frozen, eyes wide, chest still. His brain short-circuited while his heart did a weird drum solo. His gaze locked with Eugene's, who looked calm. Way too calm for someone who just assaulted the school's top menace with a kiss. Xavier blinked once. Just what the hell had happened? As soon as his brain caught up, Xavier shoved Eugene away by the shoulders with wide eyes and burning cheeks. Eugene simply stepped back, smirking. Xavier blinked hard, then rubbed his lips with his hand, then with his sleeve, like he was trying to erase the moment from existence. What the hell was that? Eugene crossed his arms, calm and unbothered. Why, I just did what you called disgusting. So, was it disgusting enough? You still breathing? Didn't pass out from the horror? Xavier snapped, fuck you. I'm going to kill you. Try calming your emotions first, Eugene replied dryly. Then, his tone dropped, eyes narrowing. Maybe you'd enjoy it more if you stopped seeing me as your rival. What's wrong? Weren't my lips soft enough? Was it really that different from the girls you hook up with? Xavier froze. Anger radiated off him, but he said nothing. His glare could burn holes into walls, yet Eugene didn't flinch. Eugene took a step closer, voice steady. Next time you open your mouth to talk trash about someone, think about what it could cause. Feel humiliated now. That's exactly what you make others feel. Now you get it. Still silent. Xavier's jaw tightened, fists clenched. You said, boys liking boys causes disease. Interesting. So tell me, mister, you sick or something? 'Cause now that I'm checking, you look perfectly fine to me, maybe just a little dumb, but that's not contagious, is it? Eugene scoffed and turned away, grabbing his best friend, Ricky's wrist, dragging him out. As the crowd remained frozen, Xavier punched a locker with a loud bang, making half the hallway flinch. Then he glared around. Everyone scattered like ants. Reaching the dorm room, Eugene slammed the door shut behind him, his composure finally crumbling. He stood frozen for a second before dropping to the floor like a dramatic movie scene. Oh my freaking cheese, what did I just do? He wailed, tugging at his own hair. I gave my first kiss to that bloody jerk. This is not right. My life is ruined. Absolutely ruined. I knew it. He's always been a bad omen. Always. Ricky leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching his best friend fall into emotional chaos. Yeah, you really did go too far this time. Eugene groaned, flopping backward, arms spread wide like a tragic hero in a soap opera. But that jerk deserved it. His voice was stubborn, but his eyes held regret and maybe a bit of guilt hidden under all the sass. Xavier was, after all, the campus's official Greek god with a devil's soul, a face carved like an angel sculpture, standing 6 feet 3 inches with a model-perfect build. But his heart, pure, unfiltered trash, the kind of trash that stinks up a room and still has the audacity to act high and mighty. He was the only son of the wealthiest man around, and he wore that ego like a diamond crown. To him, most people were ants beneath his feet, especially the ones who didn't shine as bright as his bank account. He enjoyed making others squirm, finding twisted amusement in their discomfort. Disdain came to him as easily as breathing. Eugene had known him since middle school. And if there was one thing consistent about Xavier, it was his horrible attitude, which only worsened with time. He still remembered the very first war between them, back in 7th grade. Xavier had been bullying a boy for having a torn backpack, calling him a walking donation drive. Eugene, who usually minded his own business, couldn't take it anymore. Without a word, he grabbed the thickest, deadliest-looking book he could find and threw it straight at Xavier's leg. Xavier ended up in the hospital with a hairline fracture and his leg in a plaster. Still a brat even in pain, he demanded an apology. Eugene, cool as ever, stared at the plastered leg, then said, "I don't say sorry to people who can't walk." Xavier was furious. The moment he healed, he stormed into class and picked a fight with Eugene. And Eugene didn't back down. Not that day, not ever. It was a full-on war. Teachers had to separate them. The aftermath: Eugene lost a tooth, bottom row, still a bit crooked to this day. Xavier, he walked away with a sharp, deep bite mark on his wrist, shaped like rage and vengeance. That scar never faded. It stayed like a cursed bracelet. They were both called to the principal's office. Xavier, of course, wanted Eugene expelled from the school, but he couldn't. Eugene wasn't any less stubborn. He stood firm on what he believed was right, justice. And since he'd stepped in to protect a kid from being bullied, even the teachers couldn't truly scold him. Still, Xavier demanded an apology. Eugene crossed his arms and said coldly, "Only if you apologize to the boy you bullied first." Xavier refused. So Eugene refused too. Back and forth it went, like a court hearing no one could stop. Until finally, Xavier, through gritted teeth and pride cracking, apologized to that boy. Only then did Eugene give a very dry, very formal, sorry, back to him. And from that moment on, they became bloody enemies. Their fights weren't just physical anymore. They turned into a rivalry of everything: grades, sports, awards. Always trying to outdo the other. Always trying to prove something. Even though they hated each other, fate, or maybe just a cruel joke from the universe, kept tying them together. Even in college, they ended up in the same department, same class, and worse, on the same floor of the dorms. Now, Eugene mostly tried to ignore him. He didn't want drama, but when Xavier crossed the line, and he always did, Eugene stepped in like a storm waiting to explode. And that was what happened today. It all started when Xavier, with his usual arrogance, mocked Ricky, who'd been casually talking to his boyfriend. In front of his group of friends, Xavier laughed and spat venom like it was nothing. How can a guy like another guy? Kissing a guy spreads disease. You might as well kiss death if you kiss a man. Eugene had enough. No words, no warning. He grabbed Xavier by the collar and crashed their lips together in a hard, defiant kiss. No softness, no hesitation, just raw fury and fire. Eugene kissed him until Xavier's brain shut down, his arms hung limp, and not a single thought could form in that arrogant head. The entire day passes, Eugene skipped all his classes, not wanting to see Xavier's face or deal with the chaos that followed. Ricky had gone to his own classes, so Eugene stayed in the dorm, wrapped in a blanket, reading a novel like nothing had happened, except his heart wouldn't stop racing, and that kiss. It wouldn't stop replaying in his head. Eugene was busied reading a novel, glasses perched on his nose, trying to push the earlier incident out of his mind when suddenly, bam, his door was kicked open. He already knew who it was. "Seriously, what the hell do you want? Who said you could barge into my room like that?" Eugene snapped, glaring as Xavier stormed in, his face darker and more furious than ever. The door slammed shut behind him. His eyes were bloodshot, teeth clenched, and breath heavy, like he'd been holding all his anger in until it finally exploded. Just looking at Eugene felt like being stared down by a storm ready to break. Eugene stood, eyes narrowing but voice steady despite the rising tension. "Xavier, what do you want? This is my dorm room, don't do anything stupid." Before he could finish, a sharp punch smashed into his face, knocking his glasses askew and sending him stumbling backward onto his bed. Xavier loomed over him, rage dripping from every inch of him. "You think you can insult me and just walk away?" Xavier's voice was cold and deadly as he pinned both of Eugene's wrists down, cutting off any chance to fight back. Eugene struggled but didn't back down, smirking despite the situation. "Why did that stupid kiss hurt your ego so much? Grow up, Xavier. Throwing fists won't fix anything, sweetheart." Xavier's expression twisted, on the edge of losing his mind. "You think this is a game? Do you know how disgusting I feel right now? It's so bad I could die." Cool and calculating, Eugene quickly raised his knee, striking Xavier's back. The sound of a grunt escaped him as Eugene took advantage of the moment, grabbing Xavier's face and pulling it down to lock eyes. "How could I possibly let go of an opportunity like this?" Eugene smirked. "Let me disgust you to death again." Before Xavier could react, Eugene smashed his lips against his. Not again," Xavier muttered, struggling to break free, shaking Eugene's shoulder, but then he caught the sweet, salty taste of strawberry lip balm. The taste flooded his senses, and without realizing it, Xavier kissed back, messy, desperate. His hands, which had been gripping Eugene's shoulders to push him away, slowly loosened, resting on the bed on either side of Eugene's head. He was lost, completely consumed by the kiss he knew he shouldn't want but couldn't stop himself from needing. Eugene's lips were soft and warm, the taste of his strawberry lip balm making them even more irresistible. Xavier's lips moved on their own, gently sucking on Eugene's, then slipping in with his tongue. A strange, unfamiliar feeling bloomed in Xavier's chest, a flutter of excitement mixed with confusion. He wanted to dive deeper into the kiss, to lose himself completely, but just then, Eugene pushed him away, breaking the kiss with a wet pop. Xavier blinked, flustered and shocked at his own boldness. His eyes locked onto Eugene's face beneath him, lips swollen and red, slowly licking the sweetness away, a smirk playing on his mouth. "You look dissatisfied," Eugene teased, clearly enjoying Xavier's confusion. That look, wanting more but unsure, hit Xavier like a lightning bolt. Suddenly, his entire body trembled. He scrambled off Eugene and stood up, covering his mouth with his palm as if trying to hide the lingering warmth. Still, he couldn't stop licking his own lips, chasing the fading taste. His mind raced, and his heart flipped wildly. The room suddenly felt too hot, his usual anger cooling down and melting into something new, something dangerous and unknown. "Hey, you broke my glasses. When are you gonna pay for that?" Eugene asked, still lying on the bed, casually removing his broken lenses and letting out a sulky sigh. Xavier blinked, then suddenly his face flushed deeper when his eyes drifted down, landing on Eugene's legs. Eugene was wearing an oversized blue hoodie, so big it reached all the way to his knees, leaving his long, delicate, pale legs completely exposed. They looked smooth, soft, almost unreal. Xavier's head started to ache. He'd seen plenty of legs before, long, short, perfect, average, but for some reason, Eugene's legs felt like the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. "Am I losing my mind?" Xavier wondered, cheeks burning hotter than ever. Just then, the door was knocked loudly. Ricky appeared first, followed by two serious-looking male teachers. Ricky knew Xavier was inside and guessed a fight might be happening, so for safety, he'd brought backup. Outside, a crowd of students had gathered, buzzing to witness the showdown between the legendary wild heartthrob Xavier and the silent but fierce Eugene. "Oh, people, if you don't want me to snitch to the teachers, hurry up and pay for my favorite glasses, you jerk." Eugene called out from the bed, trying to stand. Before he could move, Xavier grabbed his shoulder, pushing him gently back down. Then, without a word, he pulled the duvet over Eugene's legs, covering them protectively. Eugene blinked, confused, not realizing Xavier was shielding his beautiful legs from prying eyes. "Sit tight, no nonsense, no getting up," Xavier said, annoyed but casual, tossing his credit card onto Eugene's chest. Eugene smirked, nodding in amused surrender. Xavier awkwardly opened the door. As expected, a crowd waited outside. Ricky immediately rushed in to check on Eugene. The teachers exchanged serious looks. One asked sternly, "Xavier, is it true you came here tonight to fight with Eugene?" Xavier rubbed the back of his neck, caught off guard. From behind, Eugene lounged on the bed, casual as ever. "No, sir, we didn't fight, we just talked like mature adults and cleared up some misunderstandings." The teachers glanced at each other, surprised, so did Ricky. Xavier sighed, forcing a smile. "Yes, we're fine now. No more fighting. Sorry for the trouble, sir. You should get some rest." The teachers nodded and left, the crowd quickly dispersing. Xavier turned his glare on the remaining students, who scattered like cockroaches. As Xavier was about to leave, he glanced back at Eugene. There he was, hair messy, falling over one eye, lips curled in a teasing smirk, and a slow lick that made Eugene look utterly mesmerizing. Xavier's face flushed deeply. Heat rushed through him, making him dizzy. Without a word, he bolted from the room, slammed the door shut, and rushed back to his own dorm, heart pounding and mind spinning. Watching Xavier bolt like a coward, Eugene giggled, a devilish, triumphant laugh that echoed down the hallway. "What's going on?" Ricky asked, brow furrowed, confused. "Why'd you lie? I'm pretty sure you two fought." He glanced at the broken glasses in Eugene's hand. "It's fine," Eugene shrugged, flashing Xavier's credit card. "He already paid for it." Ricky didn't fully understand what had just happened but could only hope things got better for his friend. The next day, the entire campus buzzed with gossip. Half the students watched Eugene like some kind of legend for standing up to, and kissing, the heartthrob. Some admired him, others despised him. But everyone was talking. Eugene ignored the murmurs, pulling his oversized hoodie tighter over his pants as usual, buried in the novel he'd started the night before. The moment he stepped into class, the room fell silent. Every pair of eyes was on him. "What? Never seen a guy in a hoodie before?" Eugene asked deadpan, voice cutting through the quiet. Heads shifted nervously, but no one looked away. Eugene caught the familiar presence behind him, Xavier. Tall, handsome, clad in sleek, expensive leather. His expression was cold, unreadable. "Oh, here you are," Eugene said, holding up his new glasses with a smirk. "Got myself a new pair. I should say thanks, but since you broke the last ones." He tossed the credit card back to Xavier, then casually walked to his seat in the back row, already flipping to his bookmarked page. Xavier's glare swept over the room, silencing whispers. His dark aura felt even more intense, scaring everyone into keeping their distance. The room seemed colder, heavier, and no one dared get too close to the brooding figure sitting a few rows ahead. Xavier's eyes were heavy with dark circles. He hadn't slept a wink last night. His mind was foggy, tangled with frustration and one relentless thought: Eugene. The classroom felt like a dull, lifeless cage. Every sound dulled to a muted hum, every word from the teacher drifting through a fog. Xavier fidgeted, fingers twitching nervously as he stole quick, secret glances toward the last row. There sat Eugene, completely lost in his novel. His eyes scanned the pages with calm focus, lips slightly parted, face relaxed, but with a spark of quiet joy, like the story inside was lighting something inside him. Xavier's chest tightened. That little scene was all he could see, replaying on loop inside his mind. Xavier forgot to blink as he watched Eugene. The way Eugene tilted his head slightly, pushing back his dark, tousled hair to focus on the page, it was hypnotic. His skin was pale and soft, with a gentle roundness to his cheeks and a delicate jawline. Long, beautiful eyelashes framed eyes that were buried in the words. Xavier's gaze drifted down to Eugene's lips, slightly red, glossy. He knew it was the same lip balm from last night. Normally, he would have mocked Eugene for using lip balm like some girl, but now he couldn't find it in himself to say a word. Instead, he felt drawn, pulled, toward those lips. He remembered how soft they'd felt during the kiss, how naturally red and tender they'd become afterward. His throat tightened and he gulped hard, suddenly embarrassed, quickly looking away. What the hell is wrong with me? Then, without warning, his mind flashed to Eugene's bare legs from last night. Unable to contain himself, Xavier slammed his head onto the desk with a loud thud. The class ended, but Xavier barely noticed when it started or finished. His eyes had been locked on Eugene for what felt like the 1000th time, watching him smile and chat with some guy standing in front of him. Xavier frowned. Who the hell is that? Seeing Eugene laugh and smile so freely sent a sharp spike of jealousy through him, like his blood pressure was rising with every second. He'd had enough. Xavier stood up abruptly, his voice dropping low and cold as he approached, making everyone around tense, expecting another fight. Get up. Eugene shot him a glare. What the hell do you want now? I need to talk. Xavier muttered. Eugene frowned, annoyed but curious. He grabbed his bag and book and followed Xavier to an empty corner. Say what you want, Eugene said casually, leaning against the wall as he glanced up at Xavier. At 6 feet tall, Eugene had to tilt his head up to meet Xavier's gaze, which irritated him. He used to be taller in childhood, but now Xavier towered over him like a skyscraper. Xavier stayed silent for a moment, then finally asked, "Who was that guy?" "Huh?" Eugene blinked in confusion. "That guy you were smiling and talking with like an idiot." Xavier muttered, eyes sharp. Eugene raised an eyebrow. "Whoever he is, why do you care? Just get to the point. What do you want? Want to fight again?" But Xavier wasn't listening. His gaze was fixed on Eugene's lips, watching them move, completely distracted. Suddenly, Eugene froze as Xavier stepped closer. His hand reached up, fingers brushing over Eugene's lips, rubbing off the lip balm, squeezing his soft lips like they were made of jelly. "What the hell are you doing?" Eugene's voice wavered between surprise and fear. He locked eyes with Xavier and saw something unfamiliar. Those dark, deep eyes weren't the usual smirky, arrogant gaze. They were wild, dangerous, almost like Xavier didn't fully understand the storm inside himself. Xavier, what's wrong with you? Get a hold of yourself. Let me go. Eugene dropped his bag and shoved, trying to push Xavier away. But Xavier didn't move an inch. Instead, he grabbed Eugene's chin firmly and crashed his lips onto Eugene's in a forceful, dominating kiss. Eugene's eyes flashed wickedly, caught off guard as Xavier's lips conquered his own like a beast. He sucked fiercely, urgently, leaving no space for hesitation. Xavier, what's gotten into you? Stop. Eugene tried to speak, struggling to push him back, but Xavier's strength was overwhelming. It was like Xavier's mind had snapped. Holding Eugene's face with both hands, he kissed him deeper, harder, exploring and claiming. The intensity was so fierce Eugene's lips throbbed painfully. He was breathless, and Xavier wasn't showing any sign of stopping. Eugene's face flushed, part anger, part embarrassment. Somehow, he found the strength to shove Xavier away, then threw a hard punch to his face. The impact made Xavier stagger backward. What the fuck is wrong with you? Eugene demanded, terrified as he wiped his swollen, throbbing lips. Xavier, what happened? Eugene asked again, watching as Xavier stared blankly at the floor, blood trickling from his split lip, but strangely, he didn't seem to care. Xavier blinked slowly. I don't know, he whispered. Of course you don't, Eugene snapped. You never care what anyone thinks in the first place. Xavier, I've told you a million times, stop being such a brat. You're an adult now, be mature. I can't always be the one cleaning up your mess or dealing with your nonsense. Eugene grabbed his bag and started to walk away, but a flicker of worry gnawed at him. Something about Xavier's strange behavior didn't sit right. Still, his aching lips reminded him of the beast-like kiss, and he shook his head, trying to push the confusion aside. While Xavier stood frozen, fists clenching and unclenching, heart pounding like a drum. His mind raced, pulling him back to their old days, those endless fights and fights that never really ended. Whenever Xavier bullied others, Eugene would always step in, ready to protect. But now, Xavier realized something he'd never admitted before: the bullying had become a way to get Eugene's attention. He provoked, mocked, and fought, all so Eugene would show up. Because deep down, Xavier just wanted to face Eugene, to test himself against him. To beat him, but as that thought settled, it suddenly felt wrong. Was that really all there was to it? They'd never had peace between them, just constant battles, competitions, and rare moments when Xavier got hurt beyond repair. Like the time in high school when he messed with a dangerous senior who started hitting him. Everyone else ran or ignored it, but Eugene stayed calm. He called the teacher, got the senior scolded, and quietly treated Xavier's wounds, even if his care was rough around the edges. Or the time Xavier was falsely accused of cheating to top his exams. No one believed him, not even his own parents. But Eugene trusted him, saying bluntly, he's too dumb to cheat like that. Whether it was an insult or genuine support, Eugene's trust kept Xavier grounded. Yet, just like always, the next day, Xavier was back, ready to fight Eugene again, just because Eugene had called him dumb. Xavier finally admitted to himself, maybe he really was dumb. He remembered that day, right before their fight, when he saw Eugene laughing and sharing snacks with some other guy. Something inside him snapped. Without thinking, Xavier stormed over, pushed Eugene hard enough to make him fall, ruining the snacks. Of course Eugene got mad, and the fight exploded. Now, thinking back, Xavier felt a sharp tug at his chest. He lost his balance, crouching down, covering his face, overwhelmed by the weight of his mistake. Eugene, meanwhile, had no idea what was going on with Xavier. A whole week passed. Xavier didn't show up to class. Didn't answer messages. Maybe he hadn't even left his dorm. It was evening when Eugene finally returned from the library, settling into his dorm room. Weekend night. Ricky was out with his boyfriend. Eugene was alone, fresh from the shower, snacks and cold drinks in hand, novel ready. The perfect comfort zone for a quiet night. Until the knock at the door shattered the calm. Eugene, puzzled, opened the door, and froze in surprise. Xavier, what are you doing here? Where have you been all week? Locked yourself in some secret basement or what? Eugene teased, arms crossed, leaning casually against the doorframe. He had just stepped out of the shower, wearing an oversized white t-shirt hanging loosely over his shorts. His wet hair dripped slightly, revealing pale skin that shimmered softly in the room's light. His bare legs looked almost glowing. Xavier blinked, and felt like he was blinded. "Hello, are you on Earth?" Eugene waved a hand in front of his own eyes, smirking. But then, suddenly, Xavier snapped back, grabbing Eugene and shoving him inside. The door slammed shut behind them. Before Eugene could say a word, Xavier spun him around and pinned him against the wall, Eugene's chest pressed flat, his face flushed with surprise and anger. "What the hell are you doing, Xavier?" he demanded, heart racing. Xavier didn't answer. He was silent, his face dangerously close, inhaling the sweet scent lingering on the back of Eugene's neck. Just how beautiful and intoxicating Eugene smelled hit him like a shock. "Xavier," Eugene tried again, voice trembling as he felt Xavier's breath warm on his skin, sending chills down his spine. Without warning, Xavier spun him again, pressing Eugene's back against the floor, then crashed his lips hard and fierce onto Eugene's. "Xavier, have you gone completely mad?" Eugene gasped, pushing weakly. Breaking the kiss, Xavier smiled darkly, his thumb brushing gently over Eugene's swollen lips. "Yes." His eyes locked onto Eugene's, intense and unyielding. "Yes, I'm gone mad, and it's all your fault." Eugene furrowed his brow, confused. "What?" Before he could say more, Xavier's words hit him like a bomb. "I like you." "Huh, no, scratch that, I'm in love with you," Xavier muttered, eyes glinting red with raw emotion. Eugene's eyes widened. "The fuck, Xavier, what are you saying? This isn't something to joke about, you idiot." He tried to push Xavier away, but Xavier caught his wrists, pulling them above Eugene's head. "You think I'm joking? Tell me, do I look like someone who'd say, 'I love you,' for fun? Especially to the one I hated most. I don't even know when it changed, when this obsession for your attention twisted into love. I hated you, God, I really did, or at least I tried. But fate's a cruel joke. My heart, my mind, they betrayed me. Now I'm losing my damn mind craving you. And I swear, this madness won't stop, not until you're mine." Completely. Eugene blinked, heart racing. "Xavier, this is so sudden." There was no joke in Xavier's heavy breathing or serious eyes. Without a word, Xavier leaned down, pressing his face to Eugene's neck, inhaling his scent and warmth, the kind of joy and comfort he'd never known. "Trust me, I'm not joking. I'm the one suffering here. It's insane, I feel strange just having you near. But it's not enough. I need you closer, in my veins, my breath, my soul. I know it sounds crazy, but I can't help it. I'm going mad with this feeling. Tell me, how the hell did you make me like this?" Eugene softened, stepping into the role he'd known since childhood, coaxing Xavier back from his madness. "Okay, fine, I understand. Let's sit down and talk calmly." Xavier shook his head, voice suddenly softer, almost like a child begging for candy. "No, I want a kiss." Eugene's whole body trembled. He sighed softly. "Fine, but we'll talk later." Xavier's grin lit up. Eugene blushed bright red, heart pounding as he whispered, "But, don't be too fierce." Xavier stared, never having found Eugene so adorable. Then he leaned in gently, pressing soft, deep, passionate kisses to Eugene's lips. This time, Eugene kissed back tenderly, softly patting Xavier's back. Xavier couldn't help but flick his tongue lightly over Eugene's slightly broken tooth, remembering how he'd caused it in their childhood fights. After a long session of long kissing, Eugene sat on his bed, lips throbbing as he carefully applied lip balm, ignoring Xavier's hungry gaze fixed on his mouth. Xavier perched on the chair across from the bed, looking like a good boy, face flushed, eyes sparkling with a mix of longing, shyness, and desperation. Eugene finally broke the silence. "Just a week ago, you were mocking people who like guys. Now look at you." Xavier chuckled softly, lips curving into a small smile as he met Eugene's eyes. "I know, I'm a jerk. Maybe fate's just punishing me. But, somehow, it doesn't feel that bad anymore. What do you want to do now?" Eugene asked, taking a sip from his cold water bottle. Xavier's smile widened. "I want to marry you." Eugene choked on his water, eyes going wide. "What the hell? You didn't even say, date, went straight to, marry." "Xavier, you're really crazy." Xavier awkwardly scratched the back of his head. "Sorry." Eugene's expression softened at the apology. He remembered all those childhood battles just to get Xavier to say sorry, and how now he offered it so willingly. But whatever it is, I'm not dating you, Eugene said firmly. Xavier's eyes widened, a flicker of anger rising, but he swallowed it down. Why not? Eugene crossed his arms, serious. What do you think? Do you really believe we have some normal, sweet relationship? If I started dating you, there'd be more than 100 reasons why I shouldn't. Xavier went quiet, knowing well that from childhood until now, all they'd ever been was enemies. He'd hurt Eugene countless times, gotten into fights, and played the jerk. Of course, Eugene wouldn't give in that easily. Then, I'll do whatever you ask. Because letting you go isn't an option, I'll do anything to make you want to date me. I'll chase you, Xavier said, confidence burning in his eyes. Eugene blinked, surprised by the sincerity. A small smile tugged at his lips as he picked up his novel. Fine, let me think of something first. Okay, Xavier nodded eagerly. Can I stay here tonight? Why? Eugene raised an eyebrow. Nothing special. I promise I won't do anything. I'll just watch you. You can do whatever you want. Eugene shrugged. Fine, suit yourself. He put on his wired headphones, tore open a packet of chips, and finally settled into his reading. Xavier rested his arms and head on the chair, watching Eugene like a hawk, his eyes never blinking, drinking in every little smile, every frown, every shift as Eugene lost himself in the novel. He'd never found anyone so beautiful, so captivating. The next day, the whole campus buzzed with gossip and surprise. At the school courtyard, slapping sounds echoed loudly. Xavier stood still, jaw clenched, face tight, looking like he'd rather take on a fight than be here. But he was doing it for Eugene. He cleared his throat. First, Dylan, I shouldn't have shoved you into the pool during winter. Slap. Dylan scoffed. You think saying sorry fixes my pneumonia? Xavier didn't flinch. He just nodded. Next, Lara, you're not a useless loudmouth. You're smart. I was being a jerk. Slap. Xavier gritted his teeth but nodded again as Lara cursed him and stomped away. One by one, others came forward, slapping, cursing, yelling, and Xavier bore it all. Eugene stood off to the side, serious but inwardly surprised to see Xavier standing like a good boy, accepting every insult and slap. It was Eugene's simple task: make Xavier apologize to everyone he'd bullied or wronged. The list was so long it took from 7 a.m. until lunch at noon. Xavier didn't move, didn't argue, he even started realizing how badly he'd treated others. If it weren't for Eugene, he never would have realized it. So despite the stinging slaps and harsh words in front of everyone, Xavier felt oddly happy. Maybe, just maybe, after this, Eugene would finally let him date him. After the apology session ended, Xavier happily trotted over to Eugene like a puppy seeking approval. Eugene's heart squeezed as he noticed the bright red slap marks blooming on Xavier's cheeks. Yet, Xavier didn't seem to mind at all. When Eugene had given him that impossible task early that morning, he never expected Xavier to agree so easily, not a single protest or hesitation. Last night, Eugene had spent hours reading his novel, eventually dozing off sitting up with his glasses still on. When he woke, he found himself comfortably tucked under a blanket, book and glasses set aside. Sitting quietly on the floor nearby was Xavier, resting his head on the bed's edge, eyes full of admiration and pure adoration. Eugene felt a flush of embarrassment, and a little heat rising in his chest, knowing Xavier hadn't slept at all and had stayed up watching him, clearly happy just to be near. I did as you wanted, can I get my reward now? A kiss would be enough, Xavier said, grinning like he had a tail wagging behind him. Please, please, can I? He added, eyes sparkling with hope. Eugene fought back a chuckle. I'll think about it. Until then, be a good boy. With that, Eugene turned and headed off to class. Xavier stood there, heart fluttering wildly, feeling shy and lightheaded, as if he were floating on cloud 9. In class, Eugene sat at his usual spot, casually chatting with Jake, the guy in front of him who shared his taste in novels. Today, Jake flinched sharply when Xavier suddenly appeared, slamming his bag hard on the desk and glaring fiercely at him. What the hell are you looking at, huh? Xavier growled, his eyes dark and dangerous. Jake quickly looked away, clearly intimidated. Eugene frowned. What are you doing? Scaring people for no reason. Xavier slid down beside him, voice low but serious. He was staring at you. No one can do that. Then, almost instantly, his face softened into an adoring smile as he rested his chin on his hand, looking right at Eugene. Anyway, have you thought about when I get my reward? Eugene rolled his eyes and ignored him, focusing on his notes. Xavier didn't mind, he just happily watched Eugene, utterly captivated. Over the next 2 days, Xavier was like a puppy, roaming after Eugene everywhere, being good, avoiding eye contact with anyone else, even closing his eyes or dozing off when Eugene wasn't around in class. But today, after class, Eugene noticed Xavier was missing from the last session. Confused, he overheard gossip and saw a crowd gathering in the corridor. Rushing over, Eugene's breath caught. Xavier was in full beast mode, fierce, ruthless, landing punch after punch on a guy who barely managed to protect himself. The crowd was too scared to even breathe. Xavier, stop, Eugene shouted, his voice cutting through the tension. Xavier's fist froze midair. For a moment, panic flickered in his eyes as his rage drained away. Slowly, he stood up, his fists bleeding but unbothered. He approached Eugene cautiously. Eugene, I'm sorry but... No, you shouldn't be sorry. I should be sorry for ever thinking you'd change, Eugene snapped, turning on his heel and running away before Xavier could say another word. Eugene, wait, just listen, Xavier screamed, his mind a whirlwind of frustration and pain. His anger flared again as he kicked the guy one last time, then glared fiercely at the onlookers. If anyone else makes the same mistake as this jerk, trust me, hell will seem like paradise compared to what I'll do to you. Then, without another word, he ran after Eugene. Xavier finally cornered Eugene inside an empty classroom, locking the door behind them. Eugene struggled, pushing him away. Let me go. I don't want to be with you. You jerk. I thought maybe I'd reward you for being a good boy these days, but I was so wrong. He kept his eyes shut, refusing to look at Xavier. Eugene, listen, I'm sorry, but it was his fault. He made me angry first. Please, baby, just look at me. Don't be like this. It hurts, Xavier pleaded, his touch soft as he reached to hold Eugene's face. Eugene shook his head, refusing to cooperate. No, I don't want to listen. Let me go first. Eugene, calm down and hear me out. Otherwise, I swear, not just him, but his entire family will regret ever messing with me. Xavier's voice dropped low, dark, and terrifying, the worst version Eugene had never heard before. Eugene trembled under his touch, eyes wide in shock. Xavier gently traced Eugene's cheek with his fingers, voice softened but still filled with a dark edge. I really was being a good boy, baby. He was the one who started it. How could I stay calm when he was talking shit about you? There's no way I'll let him escape, not just him, but anyone. Anyone who even dares think about you will feel hell. A chill ran through Eugene's body. His whole being shook with a fear he couldn't explain, the kind that comes from seeing a side of someone so obsessive, so intense, it borders on scary. This was the version of Xavier who'd do anything, everything, to keep Eugene by his side. Xavier's eyes turned red and teary as he pulled Eugene into a tight hug, burying his face in Eugene's neck. I was wrong. Forgive me, I'm sorry, he whispered, voice trembling. But how do you expect me to stay calm when anyone talks bad about you? I don't care what they say about me, but you. I can't stand anyone doing wrong to you, no matter who the fuck they are. His voice darkened on that last line. Eugene swallowed hard, trying to steady himself as he gently patted Xavier's back. You can talk it out. No need to use violence all the time. Yeah, trust me, I tried. I tried to talk with him first, but he kept saying worse things, so I couldn't control it anymore. I'm sorry, but please don't ignore me. This feeling sucks. I don't want anything but you. Xavier's voice shook. Eugene's eyes widened as he felt warm drops on his neck, Xavier's tears falling. He immediately pulled away from the hug to look at him. Xavier's face was flushed red from crying. Why are you crying? Aish, okay, I get it. Stop it, don't cry. I'm not leaving. Eugene's voice softened as he pressed a tender kiss to Xavier's forehead. Xavier's eyes shimmered with happiness and shyness. Your hand's bleeding. Let's get it treated. Eugene gently pulled him toward the nurse's room. Xavier followed, blinking like a puppy, occasionally touching his forehead where Eugene had kissed him, feeling giddy and utterly happy. Eugene struggled to focus while treating Xavier's wound as Xavier kept stealing kisses on his cheeks, neck, and lips, giggling like a joyful child. Eugene didn't stop him, controlling a small smile as his own heart fluttered. When Eugene finished, Xavier suddenly pulled him close, hands clutching Eugene's chest, eyes locked on his with depth, sincerity, and raw emotion. Eugene, please give me another chance. Let me prove myself again. I swear I'll be a good boy and won't do anything you hate. Eugene tried to pull away, mumbling, let me go. No, please, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please, Eugene, don't be so heartless. Xavier's eyes sparkled like a puppy's, full of hope. Eugene sighed, voice softer than he intended. Fine. Xavier almost jumped for joy, hugging Eugene tightly and peppering his face with kisses. Eugene acted cold but couldn't hide his smile. The next day, Eugene sat at his desk, sighing softly as he read his book. He wasn't surprised, just disappointed, by how hardly anyone looked at him since. Everyone found out about how obsessed Xavier was with him. People feared Xavier's wrath, so they kept their distance from Eugene. Except Ricky, of course, who sat beside him and whispered, "You're completely under his possession now, Eugene." He nudged Eugene playfully. Eugene sighed. Yes, but on the bright side, no one bothers me anymore. I can read as much as I want in peace. He smiled softly. Ricky nodded, understanding, until a bag suddenly landed on the table in front of him. It was a small bag with 2 milk teas inside. Xavier glared at the closeness between Eugene and Ricky and sighed. You're his best friend, so I won't be too harsh. You know what to do. Ricky rolled his eyes and grabbed his bag, ready to leave. But then Xavier pulled one of the milk teas from the bag and handed it to Ricky. For me. Ricky furrowed his brows in confusion. Xavier rubbed the back of his hair awkwardly. Yes, as an apology for that day. I shouldn't have teased you about your boyfriend. I get what love is now, it's no different. Though, honestly, loving a guy feels kinda better. He glanced at Eugene, who cringed and hid his face in his book but couldn't stop himself from smiling. Ricky chuckled. Good, good. You should thank me too. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have teased me, Eugene wouldn't have kissed you to shut you up, and then you wouldn't have realized your feelings for him, right? Ricky wiggled his eyebrows teasingly. Xavier nodded. Right, I owe you a lot, honestly. And if anyone ever dares to bully you again, come to me, I'll remind them what hell really looks like. Ricky laughed and nodded before happily sipping his milk tea and leaving. Xavier then scooted closer to Eugene, popped the straw into his milk tea, and handed it over. Baby, did you sleep well last night? Did you dream about me? His eyes sparkled, his invisible tail wiggling excitedly. Eugene gladly took the milk tea, took a sip, then answered simply, yes and no. Xavier pouted. Oh, it's okay. Glad you slept well. I couldn't sleep much though. Why? Eugene asked, curious. I kept thinking about you. Even when I barely managed to sleep, you kept appearing in my dreams, doing things to me. Xavier's face suddenly flushed red with embarrassment. Eugene furrowed his brows. What kind of things did I do? Xavier answered with a straight face. Many things. You kept seducing me. Eugene's face turned bright red. Shut the hell up. He smacked Xavier's head with his book and looked away awkwardly, sipping his milk tea. Xavier giggled devilishly and hugged Eugene's arm tightly, snuggling against his neck. Eugene chuckled lightly. After classes, Eugene sat quietly in the library, absorbed in his book when suddenly Xavier appeared out of nowhere. Knowing Eugene hated coffee, Xavier had come prepared, with 6 different juices and 1 weird smoothie. Eugene blinked, eyebrows furrowed. You're insane, he muttered, but still took the orange juice and sipped it. Xavier grinned, sitting down across from him. Yeah, for you. Eugene rolled his eyes, his ears flushing slightly. Xavier smiled at his shy reaction, then suddenly asked, can you stop talking with that Jake guy? He's annoying. Why? What did he do to you? Eugene asked, flipping a page, his lips softly brushing the straw. Xavier glowered for a moment before his anger softened as he watched Eugene. He looks at you too long, and he even touched your hand. Seriously, we share the same taste in books. How many times do I have to say? And he gave me a book, so maybe we accidentally touched. Eugene sighed. I don't care. Don't let anyone touch what's mine. Xavier's voice dropped darkly. Xavier, Eugene tried to protest but was cut off. You're mine, Eugene. I'll be a good boy, worship the ground you walk on. But don't test me if someone else tries to touch you. Eugene's breath caught. He frowned. You're too much, gosh. He shoved Xavier off, stood up with his book, and started to walk away, tossing the empty cup aside. His cheeks and ears burned as his heart raced, and he silently scoffed. But Xavier moved fast, cornering him against the dusty library shelves. Eugene stared, startled, clutching his book. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Don't be mad. Xavier's voice was soft, his eyes gentle and sincere. Eugene couldn't resist the sincerity inside. Fine. Xavier smiled. Then if you forgive me, reward me. Eugene raised an eyebrow. I need it, Xavier whispered, leaning closer to Eugene's neck. Need what? Eugene asked, wary. Xavier's pupils dilated. A kiss. Just one. I haven't had one in 2 days. I'm going crazy. Eugene scoffed. You kissed me like a beast just yesterday. That was yesterday. I want one now, a midday, book-scented library kiss. Come on, just a quick one. For the sake of my mental health. Eugene narrowed his eyes. No. Xavier pouted like a kicked puppy, but leaned down anyway, brushing his nose softly against Eugene's cheek. I'll just keep breathing this close to you until you give in. Eugene looked like he was about to explode, but then a gentle smile broke through as he tried to act cool. Fine, but only a little one. Xavier practically jumped like a puppy, his hands immediately cupping Eugene's face before capturing his lips in a deep, passionate kiss. He played with Eugene's lips and tongue like it was his birthright, his hands sliding up Eugene's sides, as if needing to feel every inch just to calm the restless heat inside him. Eugene's fingers clenched the edges of his book as he kissed back, trying to keep pace, but Xavier always seemed to forget the world once their lips connected. Okay, enough, Eugene gasped, breathless and weak, lightly smacking Xavier's chest with his book. Xavier locked the kiss one last time before pulling away, his arms wrapping tightly around Eugene's waist as he breathed heavily, eyes closed like he'd just gotten his daily dose of pure bliss. Eugene smiled softly, patting Xavier's back gently, inhaling the clean, manly scent of cedar that clung to him. The cologne Xavier used to wear, the one Eugene once complained was too strong and gave him headaches, was gone. He remembered telling Xavier that once, and since then, Xavier had stopped wearing it. It was long before he'd realized his feelings, but now, thinking back, Xavier found himself feeling even dumber. He had always wanted Eugene's attention, even before he realized his feelings. That night, Xavier paced back and forth in front of Eugene's dorm room, his heart pounding with anxiety. The door was locked, and confusion crept in as he wondered where Eugene could be. He leaned against the door, kneeling down, pressing his forehead to the cold wood, his mind racing with worry. What if something bad happened to Eugene? Just as he was about to rush off to look for him, footsteps echoed behind him. Eugene appeared, carrying a mango juice in his hand. What are you doing here? Eugene asked, stopping in his tracks, nearly losing his balance as Xavier suddenly threw himself into a tight hug. I thought something happened to you, Xavier whispered, voice shaky but relief flooding through him as his worry eased. Eugene blinked, a small smile tugging at his lips. I went to get a book but couldn't find it, so I just came back and bought myself some mango juice, he explained, feeling bad for making Xavier so anxious. Xavier relaxed and chuckled softly. Oh good, here I was already planning how many people I'd have to kill. Eugene sighed, pushing him gently away. Get therapy. Xavier grinned devilishly. Only if you're my therapist, I'll tell you all my twisted thoughts. Especially the ones where I chain you to my bed and... Eugene's face instantly flushed scarlet as he threw the mango juice at Xavier's face. Xavier licked his lips, smirking. Mango, my favorite. Eugene rolled his eyes but unlocked the door and stepped inside. Xavier happily followed, wrapping his arms around Eugene's waist from behind. I missed you. My arms missed having you in them, Xavier whispered, planting small wet kisses on the back of Eugene's neck. Eugene shivered, a chill running down his spine. I was only out for a while, he whispered back. But before Eugene could step away, Xavier spun him around, locking eyes with him before capturing his lips in a deep, fierce kiss. Okay, enough, let's go wash up. You're all sticky, Eugene said, breaking the kiss as he caught the faint, sweet scent of mango juice lingering on Xavier's face. Xavier held Eugene's hand, kissing each finger softly. I don't wanna leave. Eugene gulped, watching the way Xavier's tongue rolled over his fingers, his cheeks flushing. He gently pulled his hand back. Come back after you wash up, he whispered. Xavier blinked, nodded eagerly, and dashed off to his dorm to clean up, leaving Eugene smiling softly in the doorway. Eugene chuckled softly, changing into something more comfortable before settling down on his bed. After a few minutes, Xavier returned, arms loaded with snacks and a fresh mango juice for Eugene, courtesy of a peace offering after the earlier juice-throwing incident. Ricky was out with his boyfriend, so it was just the two of them in the room. The silence between them felt warm and easy. Eugene sat comfortably between Xavier's legs, leaning back against his chest, while Xavier wrapped his arms around Eugene's waist, basking in the quiet closeness. Without much thought, Xavier casually took Eugene's wrist in hand, pressing a soft kiss there. Then, like a snake teasing its prey, he slid his tongue under Eugene's sleeves. Eugene quickly pulled away, blushing but not turning away from his book. "Be good," he whispered with a shy smile. Xavier nodded, acting like a good boy though his sneaky kisses didn't stop. "You've kissed me more than 5 times in 5 minutes, Eugene muttered, sighing as he adjusted his posture. His eyes flicked to the faint bite mark on Xavier's wrist, a reminder of Eugene's childhood antics. Xavier hummed in response, pulling Eugene even closer around the waist. "Yeah, and my hands are starving for 10 more. Eugene rolled his eyes. "Do you ever think about anything else?" Xavier's grin deepened. "Just you, in different positions." Eugene pushed him away playfully, but Xavier only smiled wider, holding him firmly and nuzzling into Eugene's hair. Eugene couldn't help but smile back, caught between exasperation and affection. Time slipped by just like that, and true to his word, Xavier was becoming a genuinely good guy, no bullying, no messing around. Honestly, he barely even glanced at anyone else, completely absorbed in being near Eugene, kissing him, making him smile, or simply existing quietly by his side. He was doing everything he could to make Eugene happy, hoping to be fully accepted. One day, Eugene casually mentioned a novel he'd been hunting for, a rare out-of-print edition he couldn't find anywhere, not even on the app stores. Xavier overheard this and, without a second thought, went into full-on mission mode. He scoured every corner, contacted every rich friend he knew, and spared no effort or expense to track down that elusive book. When he finally presented the pristine copy to Eugene, the look on Eugene's face stopped Xavier's heart, clutching the book tightly, his throat tightening, his heart pounding in surprise and gratitude. Eugene laughed softly, calling him an idiot in the most affectionate way, but then sealed the moment with a long, lingering kiss that sent Xavier floating on cloud 9. After graduating, they finally told their parents about their relationship. Their mothers, surprisingly calm and understanding, admitted they had a feeling all along. They smiled knowingly and assured their sons of their full support. Family was family, no matter what. Xavier took on the career of an actor. With his striking looks and influential background, the doors opened easily for him, but he wasn't content with just that. He poured his heart into honing his craft, and before long, he rose to fame on his own merit. Though he had grown calm and mature, the occasional flicker of possessiveness still showed, but he kept it under tight control. No matter how busy his schedule, he never missed a chance to call Eugene throughout the day. And when they were together, his kisses were long and deep, fueling his energy for the days ahead. Meanwhile, Eugene chased his dream of becoming a writer. His debut novel became an instant hit, followed by 2 more successful books that captured readers' hearts. One of his stories became so beloved it was adapted into a film, and the lead role. Naturally, it was Xavier who took it, the happiest man to portray the hero of Eugene's creation. Together, they built not only their careers but a life full of love, respect, and endless support, a perfect balance of passion and partnership. Both Xavier and Eugene pursued their demanding careers with great success, their names becoming well-known and their dreams realized. The busy schedules, constant spotlight, and endless commitments could have pulled them apart, but they always found a way back to each other. Whether it was a quick call between meetings, a stolen moment over dinner, or late-night messages filled with playful teasing, their bond stayed unbreakable. Of course, like any couple, they had their share of arguments and misunderstandings. Mostly small sparks that quickly flared, but Xavier was often the one who let the fire burn hotter. His fierce pride and intense emotions sometimes made him act impulsively, pushing Eugene away in anger or frustration. But it never lasted long. Deep down, Xavier's love was like a wildfire, wild, overwhelming, and impossible to ignore. After every fight, he'd find a way to make it right. Whether it was showing up with flowers at Eugene's doorstep, writing a heartfelt apology text that went on for paragraphs, or simply pulling Eugene into a hug and whispering promises of never letting go, Xavier always fought to heal the cracks, no matter how deep. And Eugene, patient and loving in his own way, knew that beneath Xavier's wildness was a heart that only ever wanted one thing: to be close to him, forever. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, fierce, messy, and real. And that was more than enough. The sky was turning a soft shade of orange, birds chirping in the distance as the cold wind swept through, carrying leaves that twirled and danced across the open sky. Eugene sat comfortably on Xavier's lap, a laptop resting on his knees as they swayed gently on the cozy clothes swing. Warm snacks and drinks were set aside, forgotten for now, as they both soaked in the peaceful moment. Eugene's mind wandered to thoughts of writing a new book, while Xavier lazily hugged him from behind, his fingers casually stroking Eugene's body. His eyes were closed, his head resting lightly against Eugene's back. Despite the ache in his body, Eugene smiled softly. "Ricky called me this morning. Guess he's really leaving for abroad with his boyfriend, going to Germany." "How lucky," he said, his fingers gently tracing the faint bite mark still visible on Xavier's wrist. A wave of nostalgia washed over him as memories of their childhood flooded his mind, reminding him how far they'd come. "I see. Why, do you want to go abroad too?" Xavier asked lazily. "Yeah, maybe Switzerland. Once you get a break, we could visit there, yeah," Eugene said, excitement brightening his voice. "Sure we can," Xavier said, finally opening his eyes and smiling before pressing a soft kiss to the back of Eugene's neck. "But only if you give me a long kiss first." "Hurry, gimme," Eugene laughed, shaking his head. "Seriously, you're about to be 30, and you're still acting like a kid asking for kisses." He lightly patted Xavier's lips. "So what? What does age have to do with wanting kisses? Even if I get old and wrinkled, I'll still want your kisses just as badly as I did all those years ago." With that, Xavier leaned in and kissed Eugene passionately. Eugene shivered but kissed him back, their lips moving together in a perfect, familiar rhythm, a love that had only grown deeper with time. Eugene couldn't help but tease, pouting slightly. "You're an A-listed popular actor, there must be countless people you kiss." Xavier smirked, eyes serious and sincere. "I know, but after kissing any other actor, I just want to come back to you and kiss you hard and deep enough to wipe their lips off mine. I only want your taste on me." Eugene chuckled softly. "I can guess that." He smiled and typed a few words on his laptop. "I'm thinking of writing another book, a BL about how an idiot fell in love with his rival." Xavier frowned, a playful suspicion in his eyes. "That sounds familiar. Don't tell me you're thinking of writing our love story." Eugene laughed. "Maybe yes, maybe no." Xavier smiled warmly. "Well, whatever it is, I know your writing will be the best, just like your other books. And I'll always be here, supporting you." He leaned in, peppering kisses over Eugene's neck and face. "Now kiss me more." Eugene chuckled, setting his laptop aside. He turned, wrapping his arms around Xavier's neck, their chests pressed tightly together. "I love you, idiot," he whispered, their lips hovering so close, so dear. "I love you too. Thanks for loving this idiot of me." Xavier's lips met Eugene's in a deep, passionate kiss. Eugene smiled, kissing back and playing with Xavier's hair. No matter how many years or how many kisses passed, each one felt just as fresh and thrilling as the very first. Through arguments, ups and downs, their love never wavered. They had fought, grown, and learned, and they knew, without a doubt, that whatever the future held, they'd always be side by side, forever in love.